All right, shalom, shalom, boys here. Out in the country, driving back home after doing some shopping to pick up some more supplies. And it just got me to thinking, because I did a video the other day talking about, buying land. And so let's just get back right into it. The first video I was talking about just basically just buying land and what kind of land that you should buy. You should have a pasture. You should want to have a pasture. Something that you can put in a septic. Something that you can get a water well, because all of these things cost money. Water wells cost money. Septic costs money. And these are things that basically you're going to want to have, because at the end of the day, these are off-grid systems, which you don't have to rely on the municipal water supply system in order to get your water, or the sewage system, because then you got to pay a sewage bill. All of that infrastructure that leads from your property into the system can be cut off, can be backed up, clogged up. And so these are as well as solar. You want to be able to, let me see the blurredness of the camera. But you're going to want to be able to do these things yourself. And one of the most disturbing things that I've seen as of late, and it's going to continue, because why? Because my people perish for a lack of knowledge. Why? Because they reject knowledge. And we're seeing this rejection spirit, because people think that just because they got a thought in their head to do something, that they don't need to do any due diligence and independent research, that y'all is just going to pave the way golden for them. And that's just simply put, that's just not the case. You got to prepare. And anything that you got to do, anything that you want to do, you have to prepare. You have to do your own due diligence. And you have to really understand what you're doing before you go about doing it. And this leads me to the 800-pound gorilla in the room, is that once you move, how is it that you're going to support your family? Whether it's on a homestead or community, how are you going to produce the income necessary to build the infrastructure? Because at the end of the day, barns cost money, septic and sewage cost money, water costs money, infrastructure costs money. And the notion that you're going to come out, get on all types of government benefits, and that's going to be enough, is just not going to cut it. And it's amazing now, I hear a lot of people come out and talk about buying land and stuff, but then the economic suggestions are to go and get a Walmart job, go and get a Tractor Supply job, go and get these low slave wage jobs. And let me tell you, after working one of these jobs all day, do you think you're going to want to come home and build anything or produce anything? And this is why I say, come out of her, my people, not only physically, but economically. And again, that's the 800-pound gorilla in the room that nobody wants to talk about. Very few people are giving the living example, because, see, when you're living off Cash App, when you're living off the backs of others, that's all well and fine and good, but not everybody's not going to be able to do that. Not everybody's going to be able to live off of YouTube money and Cash App, PayPal money, GoFundMe money. Not a lot of people are not, the vast majority of people are not going to be able to do that. So therefore, you're going to have to build your economy. And that's why I go back to real skills. Because see, when you have real skills, you have the ability to produce for yourself. You don't have to depend on the system for anything. Now, hey man, I got a $25,000 greenhouse with all of the bells and whistles off of a government program. So I'm all for using the government for what you can get them for. But that's not going to get you past the finish line. And neither of these low slave wage jobs, because you got to pay taxes on them, on this money. And that's why I say build yourself a personal economy. I was looking at a video from Truth Unedited, and he did an excellent video about the last Shabbat, talking about how the Hebrews were separate, their economy was separate. And then we look at in the times of Rome, when the early church was being established, we see Paul, he was a tent maker. We see the apostles. We see the people, how they owned their own land and they were self-sufficient. They were shepherds. We were an agricultural people. Fast forward to today. We're a dependent people, dependent on their money and their economics and their system to provide for all of the things necessary, and that's just not going to cut it. This is why I say real skills. Now, what can you do in the country? You can sell produce. You can raise your own farm animals and sell produce. You can be a carpenter, and there's a myriad of things that you can do. I'll give you a perfect example. I tallied up last year's revenues, last year's work days, and I worked 78 days last year. A total of 78 days. I don't have time to work a full-time job or even a part-time job because I got too many things that I got to move and I got to be agile. But during that 78 days, I was able to replace my corporate income. Isn't that amazing? By being self-sufficient and learning how to do carpentry work, sheetrock, laying down floors, framing walls, doing bathroom remodels, fixing things for people, because like in the city, in the country, people have homes, and if you have real skills, you're able to develop this ability to be able to go into the local economy and produce wealth. Now, a lot of people, they're moving to the country and they have this religious spirit on them, and they think they're going to go out to the country and convert folks out there, and that's good and all fine and well and dandy. But I recently saw a GoFundMe from a guy that bought land out in the country, moved out in the country and began to attempt to evangelize folks in the country. And it didn't work out too well because he didn't know how to effectively deal with people. You know how the best thing you can do is be a living example, because people are out in the country, especially out in the Bible Belt, which a lot of people are moving to. They ain't trying to hear, what you talking about? Not to say that you shouldn't be able to do it, but there's a way that you need to go about doing it. Let your lifestyle and the management of your lifestyle be a light and be an example, so that people may see how you carry yourself and conduct yourself, and they want to do business with you. And then you get them that way. Because this guy, went out in the country, and this is what I'm seeing this a lot. You'll get out in the country and you don't know how to engage the local economy, the local people that are there. And then they begin to hate you. And they begin to plot against you. And they begin to levy all types of accusations and charges and stuff against you. That's not a good, healthy situation to be in. And, it's different being a white person, move out into the country, than being a black person, move out into the country. Totally different ball game that you're dealing with. So you have to be very careful in understanding how you engage the community, because this is how I make my money. These are the people that I'm going to, whether it's Covenant Contracting Services or Covenant Pharmacy. These are the people that I'm going to be developing relationships with and selling my produce and selling my goods and services to. You see how that works? I don't need these people out here thinking that I'm a threat to them. So you had this guy move out into the country, right? The local people hate him, and he's on GoFundMe asking for money and begging for money, and that's not a good situation to be in. That's definitely not a good situation to be in. You know, the first thing I did when I moved out to the country, to a town that I didn't know, because you know the age old saying, if you can make it in New York City, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. If you can make it in New York City, you can make it anywhere. So I didn't have a concern about being able to move and succeed at what I was doing. But I did have a concern with how the locals would receive me. And so I have a good rapport with the local community, because I don't care whether it's a homesteaded community, you're going to be a part of a greater community, whether you like it, understand it, or not. And you don't want to be targeted by the local community where people, they've already been there, they've lived there all their lives, and you coming in. You want to be able to build friends and build relationships, not where you're all cubby-hubby with people, but that you just have a mutual respect, and people have a mutual respect for you. But when people see how you conduct yourself, how you carry yourself, and they think that you're a threat, you're going to be a target. You got folks moving out to the Midwest, out to the Ozarks and stuff like that, and they haven't built a personal economy. And it's not for black people or Hebrew people, whatever you want to call them, it's a totally different ball game. It is a totally different ball game. So you better be careful. So like I said, the first thing I did when I moved out to the country, you know what I did? I went to the local police department and I introduced myself. I went to the local state police department and I introduced myself. Hey, just want to let you know I came into the town and hey, anything I need to watch out for? I gave them my ID and everything so that they can run my record. They see, hey, I'm just an upstanding guy. And so the cops see me today, they all know who I am. Because again, you're moving into a local, small towns in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the country. And these people don't know you. But now they know me, and they know that I'm not a threat. They know that, you know what I'm saying? They know my truck, they know my car. Every time we go out and they see my family, we get compliments on how the family is presented every single time. That's the kind of impression that you want to give or have when it comes to the local community. You don't want to be in a situation where people are looking at you in a negative light, okay? And it's basically because this is where you are now, and this is not being discussed. You think you're going to go out and move out to the country and not have to interact with the locals there? Unless you got a small army going on. Hey, which 99% of you don't. And could you imagine for people who do have large organizations? Hey, they could bring in the National Guard, they could bring in the Army. They'll bring a force that is necessary to overwhelm you, if necessary. That's just a fact. And you're going to see Jim Jones type situation. You're going to see communities raided. You're going to see homesteads raided. As this system gets more and more tyrannical, all of this stuff is baked into the cake. This is a fact. You're going to see these kind of things come to pass. I can guarantee, it's 100% guarantee. So you want to make sure in the light of these things that, for the lack of a better term, you're in good standing, that you're not creating any waves locally. I'm not out here trying to evangelize anybody. If somebody wants to hear the word and understand the word, then great. I've laid my hands on people and healed them in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ King, out here in the country, where the Spirit came up on me. And I did what I had to do, and I did what was done. But overall, listen here, you got to be wise when you move out into the country, economically, socially, because the economy of the future is everything is going to be local. I was looking at the price of venison going up. The price of all these things continue to go up. People have to be wise in what they're doing, in terms of how you're moving, in terms of how you're interacting with the local community. Because let me tell you, it's not a good thing to go out and because you're going to be a target. as the economy continues to collapse, you're definitely going to be a target. Be wise. Develop your local economy, because at the end of the day, from an economic perspective and a social perspective, it's not going to be good, because things cost money. And you're going to need a good flow. Look at the price of gas going up. I'm seeing over $3 a gallon now. It's amazing to look at these prices. But you're going to want to be wise as you move. Whether it's a homestead or a community, you're going to want to be wise as you go into that. Because if people see you as a threat, they're going to target you. And as things get worse and worse in this local economy, they're going to target you. This is just a fact. Homesteads and communities will be raided. This is just baked into the cake. If you understand anything about history, you understand that these are the things that are going to happen. So be wise. Build your local economy. Because who do you think I'm getting making my money from? The people in the local economy. And I'm a black man living in a white country. White country town. There's not a lot of black people out here, but I've been able to effectively build relationships and rapport with the local residents, where they don't see me as a threat, but as an asset. You want to be an asset to your local community. I don't care whether you are on a homestead or a community or anything. If people see you as a threat, you will be targeted. They won't do business with you. And you're going to be stuck at some Walmart job or some Dollar General job. Price of everything is going up, but the price of those wages and salaries at these bullshit jobs, they're not going up. Be wise. Be vigilant. Know what you're doing. Just don't think that you're going to be spiritual and you're going to come out and everything's going to work. No, it's going to take work. It's going to take wisdom and understanding when it comes to engaging the local community. This is what you're going to want to do. Be wise. And I'll follow up on the next video. All right. Shalom.